It always comes to this. Here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I had showed off the beginnings of my new chest piece, and I showed off the opaques and the reworked leaves. So, or rather, I think I did smoke silver in here. As you can see, this side took better. These are fully healed now. Well, fully healed as in they've been done for about a week and a bit. The leaves came out, you know, exactly what we'd expect. But there's still a little bit more pink to take out here. So we'll go another session on the head, obviously. I don't mind. Head tattoos, I could sit for that every day, as I've gone over before. So that's no problem for me. But the leaves came out great. And this rose over here is almost where I want it to be. So we'll probably start with this one next time. It's a little less pink. It seems to me that the first side goes in the best. My skin probably tightened up a little bit, and the ink didn't go in as well. And when you're doing work like this, if things don't go perfectly, then there's a good chance you'll lose quite a bit of what you're doing anyway. So, yeah, when you're in the extremes, yeah, the better you can do it, the better it's going to go in. Obviously, the better the tattoo is going to look. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble too much about the head. I've talked about that quite a bit. We'll just get into what I got up to this time. So, as you can see, these lines are quite a bit clearer. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, we added onto the chest piece, obviously. So, we have the tentacles that I was talking about building off of the chest piece, kind of pulling the whole piece out a bit, but again, very, very hard to see. Obviously, when light shifts, you can kind of see. And if I get real close and move around, you can still see these lines. But with that Panthera liner black, it really did not line very well, which is ironic. I want to condemn that ink as much as possible. I understand the use of it. Could be that you want the line and the fill to look the same, but I'm having a really hard time seeing this. And I think when Rick goes back into work on this again, it's going to be a bit hard to pick it out. I don't think we're going to struggle to do it. But it is, for now, very confusing unless you get real close. And even then, it is tough to pick out. These lines are clearer. Part of why is the fact that obviously these lines are done over black that's been settled longer than the chest. But it's more than that. I'll speak a little bit about why those lines are clearer. After I did the last vlog, I talked to Kevin about, you know, I don't want that liner black used again, and his solution was just to throw it out. It wasn't Rick's; it was Kevin's liner black that he borrowed, so he just threw it out because he hasn't used it in a while. So anyway, when Rick went looking for it Monday to work on me to lay this stuff out, he couldn't find it, and I told him Kevin threw it out because it was trash. I don't know if it's actually trash. I think there's a use for it, but not for what we're doing. And he goes, well, I wish he had given it to me. And I told Rick flat out, I said, well, he knew what you were going to use it for, and I don't like the result. So, and since Kevin wasn't using it, we just decided to get rid of it. I think we should have lined the whole thing in XXX like we've been doing. I do like experimenting, but I think one time with that stuff is enough to know it's not valuable here for us, for what we're doing. And I have no interest in finding out any more about it. For anyone out there that's used it and had great results with it, please let me know. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So we're not going to use it anymore. He did try some black gold. As far as Kevin knows, the black gold is basically like the dynamic equivalent for Panthera, where it's kind of thin. It's kind of like the multi-purpose black that they put out. But it did the trick. I like it more than the liner black. Again, you can see this a lot easier. This is not peeled yet. We're on 2 days. This will probably peel tonight. I usually peel within 2 to 3 days of an appointment. So, yeah. I'm expecting these lines to be quite a bit more readable. And again, I'm standing slightly away from the camera and you can still see them. Whereas this is, you can see the old chest piece easier. The shape of it anyway. Again, I'm not super worried about that because most of this is going to be color and white. The black is going to be less important than it was in other things. So I'm not too worried about covering that later. I just think it's going to be a hard stencil to follow. So I wasn't sure, I wasn't clear on what we'd be doing this week. I mentioned in last week's episode of this because Rick wanted to do the color in the center of my eye tattoo to make it look less like a sunflower because everybody keeps saying it looks like a sunflower and it's probably ramped up more now that the new color is done. Again, I don't see it at all, but I get it a lot, and so whatever. I mean, maybe it's because people just don't know what they're looking at. It's a fly eye. That's what it was meant to be anyway. I've heard people say it looks like a honeycomb too. It's just like, who in the hell would get a giant spiky honeycomb? And why would I get a sunflower? Like, whatever. That doesn't irritate me as much as it irritates Rick. It really irritates Rick. When he sees people say it looks like a sunflower, he's like, oh, I'll fucking punch him in the face. But obviously, he's not going to do that. But anyway, it's not a sunflower. So anyway, Rick wants to put the color in that centerpiece. And the blue is really coming out. Like, now that it's healed a lot more, you can see the blue quite a bit easier in there. The purple didn't work as well, but the blue is quite vibrant. So he wants to do more of that. But this wasn't healed yet, so I listened to my body. I was like, no, we can't do the color yet. As much as we both want to. So you can see the blue clearer than you could when I first showed it off right now. That was our goal originally. But we had to put that off for the week. And we'll pick up with that again hopefully next week. Hopefully we'll be on to it next week. But again, I listen to my body. When things don't look like they're healed, I'm not messing with them. I've been at this for a while now, and if my body looks like it's not healing right, I leave the area alone. We got into a section on the right side of my waist area, my stomach/waist area, and it was hurting more, but the work was going in poorly, and I was feeling kind of bruised for a little while. Like, to the touch, I felt sore, and so we left that alone. We worked around other areas for a while. That was about 6 months ago. That big tentacle that I was working on that I just finished recently, that whole area we avoided for a while because I could feel some like deep tissue trauma in there, some bruising of some kind, and I didn't want to mess with it. I'll usually trust my body for stuff like that, so the odds are pretty good that the next session we do, I will be giving the center of my eye some more time off and maybe screwing around with the spider eye coloration, like the white in them. But again, some of this is going to be covered with tentacle. Some of these spider eyes are going to be covered up, oddly enough. And Kevin and I have been talking about this. It's a strange move, but I actually think it'll look cooler once we get the tentacles in front of them, especially considering, like, I've had these spider eyes done for a while now, and they're an established element in this new bodysuit, so I think putting something in front of them will create even more depth. But the how is confusing to him. I understand how Rick is going to cover those, but was it necessary? I think so. I think it will make a cooler piece. I think making this chest piece big and fluid and kind of all over the top half of my torso. It's the right way to do it. I like that more than the old chest piece being so structured and so rigid, and especially with the fact that none of the tentacles on my lower body are uniform or flowing one side to the other necessarily the same. I think it's the right move to have the top of me be similar in a sort of chaotic structure, even though they are working together. They're working together in a way that's more organic or like more natural, not so hard and crispy or forced. Anyway, so basically, if we don't work on the color in the center of the eye, then we'll be doing more up on my chest. And I really think that's where we should be working anyway right now. We should be spending more time fleshing that out. It's the place we need the most work. So that's what I would do. But again, I don't always get what I want. A lot of the times it's like half of the sessions are things I want to do, and half of the sessions are things Rick wants to do. Like Rick was very, very thrilled with his application of whites and yellows and stuff in these teeth, for example, because now you can't see the key and you can't see the old skulls that used to be in here at all. He was more happy with that starting the chest piece. Like he was way happier with those little things than he was with the chest piece or with the highlights on my side or any of that stuff. Rick is much more satisfied with the little things than he is with the big things. So it's interesting. It's interesting seeing what makes him tick and working with that, because I like the big picture stuff, but he likes the little small details. And I think that combination working together, we end up having a pretty cool product at the end of it. But it does take quite a while to get there with all the little details. So for people who want it done fast, Rick really isn't a great fit. He's someone it's going to take you, it's going to take you 5 years, but it's going to be the best sleeve you'll ever get because of all the little things. Anyway, I'll show it off up close again. So here's the lines. And again, really hard to see in here, but easier to see over here. And I'll take that as a win any day. And again, the ink that we used this time was Panthera Black Gold. All right, well, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.